All right then. So, people, we have been talking about Death Battle for a while on this channel. I mean, we literally just had our 200th special episode, and we have kind of discussed things in the past relating to the deaths of Death Battle. We've either talked about can I go over the top, and I'm pretty sure there was another topic we probably did regarding deaths. Like, I think it was
Do
like
deaths matter? I think it was.
yeah. There was also, I think, respectful, like, the deaths are respectful. Maybe that was the top. We've done a lot of topics. So, because of how well our tier list of our lads debate did, like ranking last year's lads debate, we thought, why don't we do another tier list and actually make it more death battle themed for the episode? And I suggested to the guys, like, you know what? We kind of want to talk more about season one on certain topics. Why don't we rank the deaths? After all, it's called Death Battle. So why don't we start off tier listing episodes by, ranking the deaths? And
I
want to give,
mean,
As opposed to the battle.
yeah,
okay.
because sometimes this might be a hot topic. Sometimes the deaths could be more entertaining than the fights themselves. I mean, we kind of already talked about a lot of these episodes of Death Battle, like whether the characters need a return. We even did a live stream when we reacted to some of the season one fight. So it's like, really, I just feel as though the deaths that's the main focus. Like, how well was death? Because some of these episodes are, let's be real here, objectively bad. Sometimes the deaths are pretty good. So, to how we're doing the tier list, I've made 5 tiers. The bottom tier one is that's it, and that could just be like maybe it's underwhelming, maybe it's pretty boring, or there just wasn't much to it. So that's it. Okay, is like, you know what, it got better, but it's not quite reaching the top 3 areas. Pretty good, like solid episode, maybe even a solid like death. Like, there's not really much to write about. It's just, you know what, that was a pretty satisfying end. Brutal, as in ooh, damn, like this is definitely a step up and stuff like that. It might have been unexpected as well. And Youch is just, that was absolutely amazing, like either gory or just over the top brutal and stuff like that, or just generally like it was really well made. So then, are you guys ready to react to some of the deaths and give our takes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
sure.
gonna give a shout out to Big Nose Entertainment, aka Nosey, on our Discord, because instead of just downloading each episode and trim them down, luckily Nosey actually has a compilation of all the deaths. So it's like, shout out to him. There is one exception. He did leave out certain deaths of 2 characters, but I'll get to them when we get to episode. So, the first ranking, Boba Fett versus Samus.
You're mine.
Can you guys hear anything? Hang on.
Okay, I'm actually going to start off with my first opinion about this, and this might seem like a hot take. I actually think that death was even better than the remastered version. Because how I look at it is that, okay, when Boba Fett gets frozen in the remastered version, he just already seems dead. Like, he's already dead at that moment. And then the headshot just kind of feels like just the unnecessary extra. In this one, though, you can actually see it. Let me actually rewind it a little bit. When just before Samus blew his head off, you actually can see him squirming, trying to break out of it.
You can see that in the remaster as well.
I might have to rewatch that because I don't recall like seeing him squirm. I think just as he gets frozen, there's a little switch, but just as Samus is powering up her gun, like he's pretty much immobilized, like he's dead. Plus, I feel like the addition of his helmet landing next to him, one, that feels like a really cool reference to, the cruel fate to his father. Like, I thought that was actually a pretty solid death, especially for a first episode. I will admit though, I feel like, because his body's just standing there with his arm out and stuff like. Again, obviously Ben was working with what limited sprites he was skilled in. He wasn't an artist. I think like for a premiere, in terms of brutality and even just the savagery of you see Boba Fett trying to, with his last moment, trying to break out of it. I think it was a pretty good death, pretty solid death.
I agree. I think it is just a pretty good death. Like it's a solid decapitation, and the shaking was a nice touch for early death battle. It's pretty damn good.
Yeah, I'd put it like somewhere either like high okay or low pretty good.
Okay, yeah. I think we all kind of agree it's pretty good. Like, you know what? This was just meant to get Death Battle started, and obviously there were plans to make deaths a bit more better and brutal. Honestly, pretty solid death for these two. Right then. The next one, Shang Tsung versus Akuma. And play.
Something so nostalgic about doing the health bars too.
Okay, well, moving from one probably unpopular opinion to another one. I don't know how I feel about this one. I feel as though, and I'm not talking about the build itself, I'm talking about specifically the deaths. One, I do kind of like that it's two different Akumas using like the special abilities, stuff like that. I feel as though, funny enough, the Raging Demon feels a bit too abrupt. And before anyone says, well, isn't that kind of like the originals as well? Not to an extent. Like, there was a really good build-up whenever he did the, like, Raging Demon. But, I don't know, I feel as though... I don't know, just seeing Shang Tsung just lying there, just, like, complete... Like, despite the fact this is meant to be a really brutal death, like, in the game, like, the lore of Street Fighter, just seeing Shang Tsung just lying on the floor like he didn't even get fatality, it feels... Especially for a Mortal Kombat character to be just... You know, it felt like he just got punched in the face and then his body just left there. So, yeah, I feel like the Raging Demon was even done better in Shang Tsung vs. Akuma, which is ironic because, you know, that one did the more modern version, not the original. I'm kind of feeling that this is just okay. I think especially coming after the last one, like, I don't know, just kind of feels a bit abrupt as well.
I heavily disagree. I think it's a brutal death. Not only because is it a really good fake out that Ben pulled with this episode, but there's just something so satisfying about the souls just leaving Shang Tsung's body and just getting that feeling of the classic arcade ending in Street Fighter.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. I feel like if they did this episode later, they probably could have done like, you know, that kind of shot where the camera like pans around the two as they're like doing that whole that midair like, you know, punch and kicky clash to basically mix up the viewer of like, wait, which one's the real Akuma again? And it makes like the ending all the more intense of just like who won. But I would actually, I agree with Sean and disagree with you, Bill.
All right, so
uh,
we'll put it in like a high, pretty good.
Yeah, I think
right.
it's at least better than the last.
Oh wait, no,
episode then.
you both went for brutal, so yeah, we'll put it in brutal then.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's fair actually. Like, okay, fair enough. You guys say that. It's kind of funny how the more Street Fighter person was not really too into the death, whereas you go. Actually, Sean, are you into Street Fighter?
Not really, no. But again, it just gives that classic arcade feeling for an Akuma win screen, which is accurate at time.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they did Shang Tsung versus Akuma now. Whew. To give an idea to people who aren't familiar with Mortal Kombat lore, Shang Tsung's more powerful than Shao Kahn. Yeah, that's the level of tiers that they're going with now. All right then. Now, the controversial episode, Rogue versus Wonder Woman. Now, I will completely leave my bias about this matchup in itself, and I'm just going to judge the death. So, and play.
Good night, sugar.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. That's it. To me, okay. Ignoring like this episode's already considered pretty bad. Animation wise, and even just depiction of the characters. I feel as though just seeing Wonder Woman, first off, her sprite just lying there, like a few frames just switching to her laying down, or looks pretty clunky. It just, again, similar to my issue with Akuma vs. Shang Tsung, it feels very abrupt. Like, I get they're doing the reference to Rogue's, like, finisher of her special in Marvel vs. Capcom. I think it was actually also in one of the X-Men games before the Marvel vs. Capcom. It just feels, I don't know, like, I don't know. That's how I just feel about it. It's just that's it. Like it's so abrupt. There's no cool epic little clash for a moment. Like even my criticism for Shang Tsung versus Kuma, we at least got an epic build up to it, and hence why I thought it was just okay. This one is just yeah, that's it. Wonder Woman's dead. Bye.
I think it's pretty good. I think it's both comical and the fact that we actually got to use Rogue's Sixth Sense, and I do actually like the detail of Wonder Woman's skin going pale after having the last of her taken from her body. I think it's subtle details, but it's still pretty good for a comedy death.
Yeah. Also, I still love like Boomstick afterwards being like, "This goes down history as the best death battle ever."
Only 3 episodes in. Also,
Yeah.
also a butt shot. Nice.
I
mean-
approve of that.
I mean, you know, Rogue is always known to have the cake. Okay, so we'll put this in like low, pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, low,
Yeah,
pretty
sure.
good. So far, we got some pretty solid episodes. So let's see what we think about the the next episode, the Goomba versus the Koopaling. This is going to be an interesting one.
That's just
Double KO.
I'll be honest. I think this one goes in brutal because, okay, first of all, the freaking build up with the soundtrack and the Goombas like chanting, the fake out thinking, oh, it's going to be a big lava pit, the Koopa's going to be knocked into that. And then, you know, it's a tiny gap that the shell comes out, not only takes out the main Goomba, but also takes out the choir. And then the Koopa falls into the lava, and then there's that shot of when it's becoming a dry bone. It's like that is a solid and comedic death, in my opinion. And also, doesn't that technically mean the trooper, the Koopaling trooper, is alive? Because you know when they become dry bones, they're still alive.
yeah, but in like the Mario Brothers games, if you knock a dry bones into the lava, they're just gone.
That is true, actually. Yep. So okay. So yeah. So okay, it is dead. It's the I still find it hard to believe this is the first Mario death battle, and it's between same
know-
universe. Yeah, I think.
Mhm.
You
I
know,
think.
even more brutal when the Koopa becomes a dry bones. Like you can see the jaw like jittering as though he's like trying to scream.
Honestly, I think this is a brutal. I think this is my first brutal ranking.
I agree. It would be a Youch, but it's mostly like the Koopa set that's highlighted rather than the Goomba, so I would say brutal.
I'd say brutal as well. Also, I just say it's just a really funny one.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah, double KO, and you know what? That immediately takes over Shang Tsung versus Akuma. Like, it's just good. Like, and honestly, even looking back on it, it's still a pretty solid episode. The next one, which is one that I tend to forget about, but I do remember it is a good fight. Hagar versus Zangief. Okay, so again, I'm gonna have that probably unpopular opinion, which again, given these two characters, I think this death is also just okay. Actually, no, I'll probably put it in pretty good because I feel like the build up to it does match someone like Zangief and Hagar, where they're like these entertainment, like, well, I know Hagar's not a wrestler, but you know, they both have that really epic build up. It kind of gives off that WWE vibe, like, you know, oh, who's going to win? And I like the fact it keeps switching on who's going to win. And I think kind of similar to what we were saying about Akuma versus Shang Tsung's ending fight. I like the fact they make him twirl for a moment, so you're not sure who is going to be like who's going to get finished. But I feel as though again, just Hagar just lying there on the floor, just that little bit of blurred out blood is I don't know, not as brutal as something like you know Boba Fett standing there with his head blown off. But yeah, I'd say back my okay for that. I think this is a pretty good death. Definitely a lot better than Shang Tsung versus Akuma for Street Fighter death battle. Yeah, just pretty good. I think it's pretty good.
I think it's just okay. Like, sure, like the spinning in the air is nice, but it felt like in that ending shot, it wasn't a lot of like impact. There was like some sort of crater or like damaged like street, and it would have added to it. I just think it's okay.
I mean, I think the way the ground like just like suddenly like comes up, uh, helps with the impact. But yeah, just like with how long they were like spinning, twirling, and yeah, like Bill said, constantly like, oh, who's gonna win? Who's gonna win? And it keeps switching and switching and switching and switching and switching. Like, first time watching, it keeps you on your toes. Then that just boom. It's either a low, brutal, pretty good for me.
Okay, so would we say that's between Boba versus Samus and Rogue versus Wonder Woman?
I think that's a fair compromise.
Yeah. Also, with how I have this, it looks like Hagar is approving of the lesbian kissing.
Yes!
Zangief is Yuri fan confirmed.
It's like that one
He
Dubas
ships it.
Goobas cart. It's the Dubas Goobas cartoon. He supports gay stuff because he likes himself that much. Those never seen Dubas Goobas, it's hilarious.
Oh, that's good. All right, then. But the next episode is the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Battle Royale. Okay, I think to be fair, I don't want to rank this all the deaths in one, so I've taken screenshots and stuff like that. But you guys have seen the Teenage Mutant Turtle Battle Royale, so you know how Mikey and Donatello go.
Yeah.
So first off,
Yeah.
Michelangelo's death. I would honestly say this is pretty brutal because of how sudden it is, and also just how honestly kind of sad it is seeing Michelangelo go out first, and on how brutal it is. Like arm chopped off, then head chopped off. Like, really shows Leo's sort of like deadliness. I mean, he does have the most deadliest weapons of the guy, so I think Michelangelo goes in brutal for me. Donatello, that goes in Youch because first of all, if you know the behind the scenes stories, Ben hated animating that death because that is his favorite Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. And the fact Chad was kind of like, I'm not sure how he described it. He was like almost like both like, yeah, keep stabbing, keep stabbing, keep stabbing. It's like, holy hell, that is brutal. Like the fact that Donatello's probably dead after a few of those stats, but the fact Raph continues is pretty savage. And then there's the final clash between two. Honestly, a brilliant build-up where their weapons are clashing. There's a very tense stare. And then the swords get broken. They both go for what looks like a throat stab on both of their ends. But then the reveal when Raph is screaming, damn, and he falls into the water. And then it shows that his sight only got Leo in the side as he lays in the sewage water that then becomes a bloody river. That goes in Youch as well. So Michelangelo gets the brutal, Donnie gets the Youch, and I also think Raph's death also gets the Youch.
So
I probably put Michelangelo pretty good just because there's also like a comedic factor to it for me. Because there's one reaction video I watched where it was like, watching the episode, just sees Mikey get taken out really quick, and I'll never forget this. They just went, "How quick did he die?"
Was that Reese? No, Reese Gressler. Oh, I'm trying to remember his name. I haven't watched him in years. I remember his reaction to Michelangelo's death was pretty good too. Anyway, yeah, continue, mate. So that was Michelangelo's.
Yeah, Donatello, the behind the scenes thing. is a factor. I do think it might go on a little bit longer than necessary, but I mean, this was only Death Battle. And the only thing that takes me out of refs is like, yeah, the tense like sword and Sai standoff. I can't help but notice that Raf's just in the idle pose the entire time. So it looks a little goofy in that sense.
Okay, so Michelangelo got pretty good. What did Donnie get? I might have misheard that.
I'm gonna put the last two in brutal.
Okay, so Donnie, Raph get brutal, Michelangelo gets okay. Sean, what would you say for these 3 deaths?
I think Mikey, I agree with me. Mikey's is just pretty good. Like, especially if I'm comparing it to the other two. I will agree with Billo by putting Donatello in Youch because it's just that brutal and that painful, especially when you do know the behind the scenes context. Raph is also brutal, I would say.
Okay, so right, this is gonna be difficult. So Michelangelo, would you say we put that just above Shang Tsung and Akuma, but we put Raphael's just in front of Michelangelo's? And
No, I
then,
think Mikey Steph goes in pretty good.
yeah, and then Donnie will go to Youch? Or do we put that in like front of Brutal?
I say front of brutal.
Okay then. Honestly, so far though, it's looking pretty positive. We've not had any in okay or that's it yet. Could it change later on, or does Death Battle get even better? Starting with Leonardo returning literally after the Battle Royale to go against Zitz from what's it, Battletoads. I never actually played any of the Battletoad games. I only played as him in Killer Instinct. And play.
That was Rash and KI, not Zitz.
Oh yeah, it was, sorry. Okay, I'm just gonna say that is a youch from me because first of all, I love the build up where you know what, like Zitz is just having a full on breakdown, like trying to hit a wall after being sneaked at. You see Leo's shell as it's going to war, and again, this is where it feels like it's the same. You guys couldn't hear the sound of it. The freaking stealth attack and like the shink, and then you just hear the blood spewing out, and it makes you think like maybe Zitz is okay. And then Leo disappears in the sewage, and then you just see the top half of Zitz just slowly going off as blood spewing. Like, that's a youch for me. It's like, damn, like, that is brutal. But I'm putting it in youch because it was like a good quit. Like, when I feel as though when deaths are abrupt, if the build up to it is not as satisfying, like what I thought with Shang Tsung versus Akuma, then I think it's a bit weak. Whereas this one, because of the build up and just that little shot of like the blood spewing, like just damn, like like you just don't see it coming. You thought like, I don't know, Leo was going to get him in a combo or something, but no, he's just sliced in half, bled to death, dead. It's like, damn, Leo. Yeah, I figure that's a youch for me.
So I would just give that okay. I more so remember the Zitz crash out rather than the death itself.
Okay, so
And
we.
while
Yeah.
it is cool to see him cut in half, I do kind of wish Ben just made the lower half kind of fall over like a couple seconds after the top half fell over. So it's just okay.
Mate.
I would either say high okay or low pretty good.
Okay then, so I guess where I put it in youch, do we put that ahead of Boba versus Samus?
I think it's fair to put it below.
Just below it, okay. I mean, we're kind of just making it up as we go along, let's be real. Man, we haven't had a single youch yet. Hopefully later episodes will change that, but let's see.
There's one I'm immediately going to put in youch.
Now, the next episode, which I still loved when they announced this, Yoshi versus Riptor. Okay, then. So I think that is a pretty good death. And I even kind of like the whole, thinking Yoshi's getting absolutely obliterated. I also like the reference to one of the Killer Instinct stage fatalities or stage knockouts where, if you knock an opponent off a building, if they fall down the building, they hit the car. It's like, okay, that's a pretty good reference. I'm not going to knock that. I just feel as though I wouldn't say it's brutal. I would just say, it's a good reference to Killer Instinct. And I would even argue, like, hey, you know what? They had a pretty solid build up. Like, it was pretty good. I think Riptor's death was pretty good.
I slightly lean towards brutal just because of the implication that Riptor's face is burning from her own acid. And then just the horror thought of being swallowed, then turned into an egg before falling onto the car is just mind-free.
Yoshi's ass
Also,
is
with
forever
how long
screwed.
it takes, with how long it takes Yoshi to lay the egg, it's just like that must have hurt.
It really did. I think it's brutal.
I'm just gonna be in the middle and say pretty good.
Okay, then. So it is pretty good.
I
So
also love Boomstick immediately afterwards going, "No, my car."
Okay, so we put that in just low brutal.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's a solid death, and I do like the reference. I feel like a lot of these early death battles really did show these guys were big fighting game fans. Because not many people really understood why it was there just a random card. I mean, Boomstick explains it, but the fact that that's a good reference to one of the Killer Instinct stage finishers. It's a shame that the later game didn't really have finishers until further updates, but not every character got them. Riptor's was pretty great though, where at first she will tear you apart and leave you, but your character will reach up an arm and then she just hits you with a flamethrower. And the next death battle is between Felicia and how do you guys pronounce this? Tao Kaka?
Kaka.
Yeah. I will say as well, I was actually again similar to Hagar versus Zangief, I completely forgot they actually had a Blaze Blue character this early in death battle. I was like, I swear that was season 2.
That fight in more sense than one.
Yeah. And
I'm bored.
I think that was pretty brutal. Like, I don't know what it is. I feel like I wasn't expecting a character like that to be ripped in half. Because all the other fighter versus fighter characters have been pretty tamed in terms of their deaths. But you see this epic build up and then the slicing in half, which is like, okay, damn. And I also just love Tao's little dancing and goes, yeah, I'm bored. While you just see Felicia just in the corner, her lower half anyway. Honestly, I think that's pretty brutal.
I'd also add on to the brutal thing by Felicia's death scream after she's cut in half.
Yeah, that scream is haunting.
I think that because of the dancing and the fact that Ben was able to recreate basically the actual finishes they're called in Blaze Blue in a more brutal way, that puts it in youch for me, dude.
That's a youch for you. Okay then. Mate?
I'm probably gonna say just brutal.
All right then. So I mean that technically puts it at the highest brutal. Where is it? Ah, there it is. All right. So Donatello's death has been beaten out by a kitty cat, which is kind of fitting. By a pussy. It's still kind of crazy to me. Man, we had a Blaze Blue character way earlier on than I realized. But now moving on to
we have not had one in over 10 years.
Yep. Sorry, Blaze Blue fans. Now moving on to
watch the next time after Angvos the Traveler is going to be a Blaze Blue character.
Imagine.
Oh, God.
Now we're moving on to Sean. This was your first death battle, wasn't it, Sean? Kratos versus Spawn?
Yes.
Yes. So, let us react to this again.
Die. KO.
Okay. It is a good death, I will say that, as someone who's a big fan of both these characters. I think the fake out is the strongest point of it because it looks like even the model Spawn looks like he's trying his absolute best to at least land one hit on Kratos. And then there's the stab, and it makes it seem as though like that's it, and then the KO is going to come in. Just to Spawn for teleport behind Kratos and hit him with a spike. I would say that is a high pretty good in my opinion. I do feel as though with these two characters, it could have been a bit more brutal. But honestly, it's a pretty swift death, and again, you get surprised by it. You're thinking like, oh damn, Kratos got him, and then it's like, oh no, Spawn snuck around. So I think it's a high pretty good for me.
So the whole fake out thing with the stab, that never got me even when I first watched it, because I remembered in Spawn's analysis they said, and they quote, he can only die if he's beheaded. And that was just a stab, not beheading him. So I was like, okay, he's still alive and dead. But I would say, yeah, at least pretty good. Because like the impact of like the spike coming out.
Yeah, no, I agree with you both. It's pretty good. The fake out just definitely adds on to it. If it wasn't for the fake out, it'd just be okay, but I think it adds to make it pretty good.
Yeah, well done, Kratos and Spawn. You've beaten out Boba Fett versus Samus in terms of death. Like, I mean, to be honest, looking at this ranking so far, we've been pretty positive with it. Like, I feel like if we were just doing it individually, there'll be definitely some more lower ones at the moment. But honestly, so far it's seeming pretty positive. The next death is from Dig Dug and Bomberman. Once again,
I'm just gonna admit, I couldn't hear it, but the eyes and the scream, it still makes me laugh.
I'm once again going to throw this in a similar area I'd put Rogue and Wonder Woman in. I think this is just a that's it. Now, I will admit, I don't have the biggest attachment to Bomberman or Dig Dug. I played them a little bit in the arcades, and I think they're okay games. They're fun. I kind of look at them as how I kind of look at some mobile games. It's that fun little pastime, you just play it just to kill time. So I kind of get what they're going for, because many players in Bomberman are known to accidentally blow themselves up. But Dig Dog is known for, inflating loads of monsters, which probably awoken a lot of things in people, and, exploding them. And the fact that, that is not the way Bomberman's finished, it feels a little underwhelming. And I also just feel as though, okay, the goat scream doesn't bother me. I think that was a weird criticism I remember seeing. I just feel as though, again, I feel as though it's not brutal, because, I mean, yeah, Bomberman's a robot, we know this. But I don't know, it just doesn't feel brutal to me, and I feel as though because I'm not too attached to these characters, it's just, I don't know, I just can't really say much about it. I'm just like, that's it. Like, it's not that interested in it. Is it a bit funny? Yes. Is it brutal? Not even close. Like, maybe if Dig Dug actually went through with, like, pumping him up till he exploded, that might have done it better for me. But so far, I think this is another, for me anyway, a that's it.
I think it's okay. Like, I like the big eyes and the scream that Bomberman does give out. It's why it bumps it up a tier for me, especially since it's just like Big Duckers does what he knows best and then just blows Bomberman up. So it's simplified, but there's a bit of comedy, so it is okay.
Yeah, I'd at least put it in okay.
All right, and we have our first okay at the moment with Bomberman. I know with the screenshot I used for it, it just kind of looks like Bomberman's like, where's everyone else?
Oh my god, that's a big fire! Or, no, wait, it's like, how is there a fire underwater? That's what it looks like to me.
Wait, how can it be? All right then. The next one is Vegeta versus Shadow the Hedgehog. Which, before we actually watch this, do you guys reckon Shadow could actually win against Vegeta these days?
No.
Hmm.
Like, I don't actually know. I'm actually kind of, I don't know. Like, I'm actually kind of split on
Honestly,
it.
it's a hard call. If Archie, no, then yeah, Shadow wins. If we're just going games and IDW comics, uh, I mean, given the scaling that Mel got,
Yeah, it's
The issue with
complicated. Maybe we'll
the
let
issue is that Shadow's only advantage is still speed, especially when you take Ultra Ego into account.
Yeah, we'll put this as we haven't done a poll in a while. That's not lads debate related. So let's actually let people decide. Do you guys reckon Shadow could win against Vegeta now? And speaking of, let's react to his death.
It's time to end this. Chaos Blast!
Uh-oh.
Sayonara.
KO.
Okay, and again, I guess I'm going to be controversial again. I feel as though this is another that's it. So, okay, first of all, Shadow looked... Okay, I know Vegeta was a short ass. Shadow looks way too big in that one shot when he realizes his powers have gone. Like, I don't know why, it looks like he's bigger than his super form in that one shot. The other thing as well is I don't know, for someone like Shadow to go out like a little bitch feels a little... Like, okay, I'm not the biggest Shadow the Hedgehog fan, but seeing Shadow trying one of his like famous attacks from his game, probably the only good thing that came out of that game, and you know, it fails and he's out of his super form just for Vegeta to go sayonara and just vaporize him. I don't know, that just feels kind of weird. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm pretty sure Dragon Ball fans appreciate not having to wait through 10 episodes to see someone get incinerated, but I don't know, it just feels really abrupt and kind of more comedic for these two sort of characters. So that's how I kind of feel about it. I will honestly say the rest of the fight is the fight itself is really good. I feel as though the death is just a little abrupt and honestly even out of character.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that it ranking. Because yeah, disintegration deaths are a lot more common sometimes, but this just like and goodbye, and that's really it.
I'm trying to decide whether I put it in okay or pretty good. I don't know, like around that area.
Okay, I guess we'll just put this in okay, just behind Bomberman's.
Yeah,
You know what? If only that image of Vegeta was flipped the opposite way around.
Oh damn it! Yeah, that missed opportunity. It's almost like Bomberman's going, "What have you done? You..." Oh no, this is this equivalent of like, "You're gonna destroy the whole planet." Oh, that's funny. All right, then. The next death battle, which is now we're moving on to Mate's first ever death battle, Sonic the Hedgehog versus Mario.
You're too slow.
Oh.
Now's my chance.
KO.
Okay, then. Honestly, that's a yout from me. Like, holy hell. Like, first of all, there's that brief moment, like, you know, when Mario's days, there's that brief moment where it looks like he counters Sonic, only for Sonic to then hit him around in the air, do a bit of combo, kicks him into the ground, and then uses the spin dash on his back as he's screaming. And then Sonic poses, the blood spewing out, just... But again, I don't think many people expected this is how Mario, or... I mean, granted, we didn't know how Sonic was going to die if he lost this episode, but it was like, I don't think people saw that coming. Like, and I mean, I didn't. Like, I just thought maybe Sonic would just hit him with a quick decapitation, or I even thought they'll do something comedic where Sonic hits him with the spin dash and he goes doom, doom, and he just falls off screen. But just damn, man, like that's a youch from me.
or just like the A Train death. I kind of thought that would have been what they did. You know what I mean, Bill?
Yeah, that'd be kind of funny. Peach just holding Mario's hands, and Sonic runs into him.
Thank you for the solar print.
Anyway, mate, what were you saying?
Yeah, no, this is absolutely a youch for me. Okay, great demonstration of Sonic's speed, like at the end, like with the using after images to show how much faster he is. Then the sound effect of the spin dash being used as a freaking saw blade, like just cutting into Mario as like blood's like spurting out of him, and that death scream. It's like, Jesus.
All right, we've got 2 Youches, mate. Sean, will you give us the 3rd Youch and give us our first ever Youch this episode?
I still think it's just brutal, not exactly Youch.
Ah, we were so close. We were this close to greatness. Yay! Yeah. What was your reason?
Well, it's just really brutal. That's about it. Not exactly quite Youch for me on like a personal level.
Yeah, that's fair enough, I suppose. We got so close. Like, this is Mario just trying to reach the top, like, no, please. But there is some
I
benefit.
mean, that's 2 out of 3, and we've put like episodes in the tier for like 2 out of 3, like sort of thing before.
Do we really want to give it like a pity though? Like, I feel like Youch needs to have all 3 of us agree on one.
That's up to you.
No, I feel like just leave it.
Fine.
I will say though, it did get a lead against Felicia, so it's like, hey, you know what? It's at least in the lead at the moment. Who knows? We might never get to a Youch this episode. Yeah, okay. I think solid Def. Right then. Now the controversial one, which Def even tried to remove at one point. I'm not sure if you guys actually knew that. They actually tried to remove Justin Bieber versus Rebecca Black, but they kept it just, preserve sort of like a legacy. Like, look, you can look back on episodes you've done really badly, but don't delete them. Like, come on, they're part of like history. Don't do a Tom and Jerry. So, Rebecca Black versus Justin Bieber.
What? And now, ladies and gentlemen, Miley Cyrus!
Monster kill.
Okay then. I hate to say this because I know this episode is really bad and really disrespectful to these characters. Well, these people. I'm not gonna lie though, I feel like this is a brutal from me. It does drag out a bit. I think that's what hinders it a bit more. I feel like if they just ended it with that was the Jonas Brothers that got blown up, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. They just show up, go, what? Boom.
Yeah. I will admit that just adds to the comedy because you just didn't expect that. But then I feel as though the Miley Cyrus is one, it was dragged out because we all knew the sword was going to hit her or something like that. So that's what puts it away from Youch for me. But I just love just how over the top brutal it is. Like, again, I know this is horrible because these are real people that have actually gone through a lot of cyberbullying online. But just judging that off of death for a death battle, I just think that was funny and brutal, over the top, but not enough to get into Youch, just because it did drag on a bit too long. So I think that's a brutal.
I agree.
So we got 2 brutals. Mate, what would you say?
I'd say for brutal, are just pretty good.
All right, then. So it's just slightly behind Sonic and Mario. Oh, no. Felicia, no. You've lost your position.
One detail I noticed is when Rebecca goes like splat against the wall, you see her like slowly slide down.
Yeah. Oh, goddamn. Who knew season 1 had so many brutal deaths, according to us?
Yeah. And
It's
now,
like, what road goes straight into a brick wall? Like, Jesus Christ.
have you ever been
Is
to
this what
London?
America is like?
Oh.
I was going to say, going around London, there's a lot of roads that just lead to nowhere. And I'm not talking about...
Yeah, but at least the road like cuts off. The road doesn't like go into the wall.
I'm pretty sure it's Canadian, given Justin Bieber's nationality.
You know, I tend to forget he's Canadian.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Also, just for piss sake, because Nosey had this included, we'll include the the T-shirt promotion they did.
Hey.
that's a youch from me. Not like it's funny. I would put it in just okay. It's a fun little promo, just saying buy our merch. That I have nothing else to say. It was just funny.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not gonna put it ahead of these ones though, because that's just a promo. So it just gets.
That looks like Vegeta's blowing up the shirt, and Bomberman's just like, "What are you doing? It's such a good shirt."
Stupid shirt.
Well, guess what, Vegeta? Vegeta's like, "Nani." Gets vaporized.
Since when did the shirt learn instant transmission?
Yeah, like it's a funny ad. I don't think, obviously, this is not. I don't think it goes in that tip because of the comedic factor. It goes above, but yeah, Nosey, thanks for including that. But the actual episode we'll go by is Luke Skywalker versus Harry Potter. Okay, then. I think this is another youch from me for multiple reasons. One, the fact that Luke uses his Force technique to find a vulnerability in Harry Potter, which, let's be real, he doesn't need to do that.
No.
But the fact they also zoomed in on the scar, they could have easily just, I don't know, had blood spewing out or just cut away. They didn't even have to even do that. But the fact you slowly see the scar cutting open, and then, you know, that you see the sprite is all bloodied head, Harry's holding his head as it's been ripped open, just for Luke, while still holding Harry there, summons another lightsaber and just throws it into his gut. And just Harry just standing there as his scream is cut off. It's kind of haunting. Like, it's like for a brief moment, he's like staring down as he got stabbed. It's like, that is, that's pretty cold, Luke. Like, he's just a boy. Well, I mean, maybe not at the current time period. He's an adult now, but at the time, he was a boy. Yeah, that's a youch for me.
I agree. That's a youch. From like the detail of the scar, just to like the sudden impact of the mini saber.
All right, mate.
Well, I'm gonna pull a Sean and say it's just brutal. For me.
We were so close. Like, is that Danny DeVito meme? Like, the episode's like, "We got you, mate." Oh no, you don't. God, we will get there. We will at least get one youch. Even if I have to bring in Sid from Ants. And if anyone gets that reference, well done.
You said Sid. My mind immediately went to Ice Age.
Now, was it Sid? What was his name again?
I was thinking Toy Story.
No, it was either
There's
Zine.
a lot of Sids, actually.
It was either Sid or Zine. Yeah, I'll put it on screen. You know, that ant from that Ant movie that came out at the same time as Bug's Life. You know, the one that got a Mario Kart racing game. No, I'm not kidding. There was a movie about ants that tackled communism, politics, war. And what video game did they get? A Mario Kart clone. I'm not kidding. Look that up, people. But okay, we were so close, but damn it, we were so close. The youch is right there. Like, Harry's like trying to reach for it. Like, no. Oh well, we got close to it, but we will get a youch.
Youch is the same color as the lightsaber.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. Oh, you're rubbing it in, mate. You bastard. But I mean, another thing that could match youch, but we'll see, is Chun-Li versus Mai. Am I bitter? Yes. Will I stay bitter? Probably.
It'll be fine.
Yeah, I remember watching this while getting like the playlist ready to kind of get my early thoughts, but looking back on it, I'm not actually sure what to think of this one. It's like, I don't think it's a that's it, but it's weird as it. I don't think this death matches either Street Fighter or King of Fighters or Fatal Fury.
okay.
And they just wanted to do like a fire, like just instant like incineration sort of thing.
It felt like a Mortal Kombat finisher, which, funny enough, like they actually used the skeleton sprite that they use for when the character gets incinerated by Scorpion. I don't know. I don't think the build-up was that good. It's cool that they threw my special ability in there. Let's be real. If either of these characters were to win their death battle, it has to be from their special moves. Like, it'd be like if they did Ryu versus Jin and Jin got killed by, the low sweep. It's like, that's a bit lame. So I think that's what maybe I put it in okay for. Like, I think it's a high okay. But I don't know. I feel as though it just doesn't match the characters enough for me to put it in pretty good.
I think it's okay. Like,
Yeah.
they did their best with what they could do with Mai and Chun-Li as characters.
What about you, mate?
Also, Bill, you just reminded me of something I saw online once. So when you were talking about an old way for Ryu to win, my first thought was, what if he won by the diarrhea joke foot?
Did you guys ever see that? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, someone animated that for Ryu versus Scorpion.
I was actually about to reference that. So I thought you were going to reference that. Yeah. That was funny. We need to bring that up as well when we do a tier list for season 2 devs. Oh Jesus, that's going to be a long ass list.
Jesus Christ.
We might have to make that
we
two.
We will only do that if you folks at home in the comments want that.
Yeah, we might make that a 2-parter because I think it deserves it. So yeah, mate, would you also say that's an okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we all collectively agree it's an okay, so it beats out Bomberman, which is a shame because this is just funnier. Like when you look at it, it's like Bomberman's looking at a skeleton. But yeah, it's a solid okay. So again, we are still keeping positive. We had 2 chances of getting to a Yaochen. You both f***ed it up. But anyway, on to, again, another controversial death battle, which I'm still questioning whether would end differently now, but we're going to reference it. This is Starscream versus Rainbow Dash.
Die!
Okay then. Now I'm not putting this high up just to piss off Proboscis, I swear. I do think this deserves a brutal because of the fact. Okay, now it's hard to make a robot death brutal. Let's be real, but I feel as though they got close to it with this one. Like, first of all, I love the build up when you see like, the rockets go up into the cloud chase and Rainbow Dash and Starscream's just waiting there just for Rainbow Dash to come back, and there's that brief little look on his face when he realizes what. Just to have his legs blown off, then for Rainbow Dash to come back, get him and hit him with the rainbow explosion off screen, and then eating his soul, which, yeah, technically Starscream's not dead, but he still lost the death battle.
But the only machine he can possess is a sewing machine.
Yeah, so it's like, that is
his fate.
That's a pretty brutal death, in my opinion. It doesn't go into Youch because, again, like, he is still a robot. There's none of that, oh, that hurt moment. Which is funny enough because I still say in Transformers 1, how Sentinel dies. Spoilers. That's pretty brutal for Transformers and for a robot. I think it goes in brutal. I think it's a very strong, brutal, like, I mean, in terms of someone like Starscream as well, it's just funny.
Yeah, I think it's
I would
pretty
at least
good.
put it in pretty good.
Yeah, pretty good. Like I said, he's not technically dead, so for what we do have, it's pretty good though.
Okay, so 2 pretty goods, and I can't remember what we gave like Kratos versus Spawn, but would you say this goes ahead or behind it?
I say ahead.
Okay then.
Ahead, given how Kratos died. I see what you did there.
Hey.
Oh, Proboscis is not going to be happy when he sees that.
Oh, womp fucking womp.
Right then, but the next one is Master Chief versus the Doomslayer. Okay, I'm gonna sound like I have such a double standard given one of my criticisms I said in the past. Okay, but I will say this death is another brutal from me. One, as someone who grew up with both Doom and Halo, I do like the fact you see Master Chief hit by the BFG gun, but you see a plasma grenade, makes you wonder like, is this going to be a draw, or is Master Chief just barely holding on? And then they actually have like this is a clever way to use like the facial expression from the Doom games because that was used to kind of monitor your health, like and Doomslayer's looking around, that's him at full health. When he's been damaged, he does that whole look on his face. So I love the detail where it shows like Doomslayer looking around, like hearing like the plasma grenade, like huh? Only to realize, oh shit, as he gets blown up. Like that is so good. Then to hear the Halo theme playing with Master Chief and the bubble shield, and that is great. But I will be honest, I'm only doing this as well because this was my criticism with like, and what was the death bar I said wasn't very in character. I'm pretty sure that was I'm trying to think which one it was now. Like that's a bit annoying. The Vegeta vs Shadow one. Yeah, but so I think I would put it in Youch, but then okay, I get the reference Master Chief teabag because Halo was the origin of like the teabag and like taunt. But I think because of that, it's very out of character and a bit disrespectful what Master Chief does. Like as a reference, great, but obviously just to make sure I'm just not having my double standard. It's still a brutal death. I just think maybe the teabagging does ruin it, just given my previous criticism.
I remember seeing so many comments or like reactions of people saying that's the most accurate part of this whole episode.
I think the teabagging actually bumps it up from pretty good to brutal to me because Doomslayer got a double dose of Lipton that day.
Okay, so we got a pretty good, a brutal. Mate, what would you give it?
I would say brutal because you literally see like Doom guy's like body like burst open and all his guts spill out.
Yeah, I think brutal's a good ranking for this death. Not quite Youch though.
Okay, so I think because I will put it just ahead of like Harry, move, you've been dethroned. He was like, no, please. Sorry.
Stare at this teabagging you will witness.
You sound like Yoda there. Teabagging, I shall. Alright then. Now onto
When you said you must.
On to the next episode, which was Ben's final episode, but god damn, was it such a good episode to go out on. Like, which is funny enough, this was Ben's last animated episode, which featured Metal Sonic, and many years later, Devil Artemis' last episode in Death Battle would be Metal Sonic. Is Metal Sonic just that determination on who leaves Death Battle?
You know what? No, it gets better.
What?
Metal Sonic vs. Zero. That was the last episode Luis made before he moved to Austin and was made in house.
Really?
God damn it, Metal Sonic!
Wow, yeah. Metal Sonic just. I mean, I guess Moro didn't really do much after his Metal Sonic episode, but still, that's pretty funny.
He's the final curse. That's what he is.
Yeah. All right then. So we are doing Eggman versus Wily.
Kneel before your master. What are you doing?
Okay then. I'm not sure how you guys would feel when I put this, and this might sound weird, so I might have to explain more. I think this is actually a Youch death because okay, is it as gory as the previous Youches I gave? No, but just the idea of like your best weapon in your arsenal not only getting like basically recoded to not only kill you, but wipe out both armies and then kill the opponent last. There's a level of disrespect on that. His rebellious coding really kicked in there. And just Metal Sonic just floating over like the destroyed city of what was once Like, let's be real here. Were any of those buildings
Well, that
evacuated
world's fucked.
before?
Our bad.
Yeah, were any of those buildings evacuated before this? Because if it's not, then before Goku vs Superman, this was probably the highest kill count that any death battle opponent had. I think this is a youch for me. I'd probably say it would be a low youch though, because the other deaths I feel were more brutal.
Honestly, it's also a youch for me. Just the straight up massacre that happens. And yeah, you get like a sense of I'm trying to remember his name. Base. Like Base going into Super Base and trying to stop it, only to just get annihilated, and then all these other robots. Eggman just gets obliterated. Wily tries to run for it, and you can imagine like how much he's freaking out inside the pod as he's like dodging and weaving, and then finally gets incinerated. And you mentioned like imagine this on Eggman's side. Sure, on Wily's side, his trump card is the virus, and then that just kills everybody.
Yeah, like it's a pretty good death, or deaths. And what about
Yeah,
you,
no,
Sean?
this isn't a death. This is a massive.
It's pretty good.
Oh, we missed.
I think the transformation like really just mostly carries that and is more the highlight than the actual deaths themselves, when it's just like so many explosions.
but the armies are dying. Damn it, we got close again. Would we say this at least goes behind Sonic and Mario?
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah, just damn it. Once again, we got so close. Viewers are watching this thinking, oh, this is going to get a youch. Nope.
This is just edging the viewers.
Yeah, we'll go with that. But although onto another death that I might be ranking high is Zelda versus Peach.
Did I win?
Okay, there is so much to say there, and I'm going to be glazing this episode a lot. Because, okay, yes, I know there's some criticisms regarding this episode, both analysis as well as, like, the sprite use. Like, we could easily tear those apart always. Holy hell, though.
Oh,
right?
for sure.
But honestly, first off, the comedic clash where Zelda's throwing like fireballs and Peach is just throwing turnips is great. The sheep then knocking her into a sleep state. Peach freaking aura farm and freaking backflip summons like those little wings she has in that football game. You hear the music kicking in, and she just obliterates Zelda's head. And you hear Zelda's, I mean, I don't even know how she screamed like this, given the fact her head got obliterated. The freaking echoing scream as her head gets obliterated, and just Peach just standing like, did I win? Again, it's a shame that I couldn't play the sound effect for you guys, like, but this is a high youch. I think I'm even going to say this now. Of all the deaths this season, this is my number one youch because just bam, that hurt. I felt the kick.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna have some back to backs, but also like the impact of the kick as well as the scream. Like, yeah, this is a youch.
This is 100% a youch, especially from a character you don't expect to do that kind
We
of
got
death.
it!
We got a youch! We got a youch, people! It was fucking Peach, of all people! That both makes me angry. But yeah, like, honestly, like, I don't think there's really much we can really say about it. Like, the build-up, the sound effect. Like, again, this came after Metal Sonic versus not Metal, Dr. Eggman versus Wily. So the new sprite animator they got really made a good impact. Like, okay, yeah, I know there's controversies with this episode. You can't deny though that death is just poof. Like, regardless where you probably rank this episode, you have to at least say the death was great.
What a debut for Mr. Lang, I believe his name was.
What's Lang actually doing these days? I'm curious.
I don't know.
Someone in the comments,
I don't
let us know.
really know either.
But let's see about something else.
Would
that
you
might
say
be...
that was a royal youch?
Eh. Speaking of
And
royalty,
speaking of royal,
yeah, I was going to say kind of, at least for one of them. Now let's look at Thor versus Raiden.
Feel heaven's wrath!
okay, before anyone says anything, on 3, 1, 2, 3, youch.
Youch. Wait, what did you say, Sean?
Youch.
Oh, okay. I thought you said pretty good. I was like, wait, what?
No,
Yeah, this
that's
is
a youch.
Yeah, look, but before we even give our thoughts, let's already put this in youch. Like, that is a youch. We're finally
Yeah, no,
getting
it
youches.
deserves to be in youch.
Okay, now the thing that's funny now, this day and age, I would actually say this is a bit more closer. 4 does still win, though, in my opinion, but it's actually crazy how Raiden actually has a better chance now. Obviously, I think 4 does win due to overwhelming strength, like, and also the fact that most of Raiden's abilities wouldn't really work on 4. But yeah,
Yeah, Mjolnir is just bullshit.
Dude,
yeah.
he cuts him in half with a goddamn hammer before throwing him into the sun.
The freaking sound effect as well, when he doesn't slide, he obliterates his legs, and then he could have easily just finished it with smacking him on the head, and then just, he's on the floor dead. Which, like, also, I feel like this fight as well, for a season 1 fight, it still holds up really well.
Oh yeah, it does.
Yeah, it's actually surprising how good the sprite animation is this many years later. Like, the sprite, like, yeah, you could argue the sprites don't match again, but I feel like with the limitation, like, especially credit to Lang as well. Raiden, they use freaking Mortal Kombat 1 Raiden sprites. That is a very, very limited sprite sheet compared to like 4's Marvel vs. Capcom one. And he still made it work. But honestly, yeah, the fact he doesn't just get thrown aside, you see the close up of him being incinerated as well. It's like, just damn. But you know what? Is there any other points you guys want to give, or we pretty much already gave this a youch?
I think there's not much to say other than viewers.
Yeah.
It's a youch. You can't convince me otherwise.
Yeah.
On to the next episode, which was technically their first ever 3D death battle. It is Cloud versus Link. Okay, then. We've had 2 good episodes of Youch deaths. I'm going to be honest here, and this might be controversial. I would actually argue this is a that's it. So, okay, I don't want to be too harsh on this, because it is their first 3D episode, and yes, there's so many things you can make fun of it looking back on it. But I think for me, what was kind of lame about it was, first of all, the edit where you see, like, Link clearly slicing, like, Cloud's throat. Like, first of all, that effect, even back then, was cheap. I'm sorry, like, they could have just done, like, a typical slash effect, and that would have got the same results. But then you have the bombs exploding, knocking them in the air, and then, you see Link stabbing down, and I get the reference they're going for, but, Cloud's just not even on the ground, and then you just see his body just, like, everybody do the flop animation, and then Link just walks away. Like, I don't know, that just feels lame for these 2 types of characters, which, later on during the rematch, they would rectify that. It still feels weak. Like, for a death, especially after the really hard-hitting ones we got previously, this one feels like a bit of a downgrade.
I think it's pretty good.
I mean,
The Z
Yeah,
camera
I would
tracking
at least-
is yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing. Like the whole Z targeting thing to keep track of how and like block the Omni Slash. Like I always thought that was really cool.
Yeah, I will admit.
Yeah, and that especially just the just the assist into the dodge up until like obviously the cool Sephiroth reference I think was a nice touch for their first 3D fight. So I do think it's a pretty cool death. Like pretty good.
All right, so we'll put that in. I'd say that's Rogue and Wonder Woman and this episode are kind of neck to neck then. So just for bias, I'm putting this one ahead of Rogue and Wonder Woman.
I was about to say it might be your call then at that point.
Yeah, I'll put it ahead of. I mean, let's be real here. We're kind of just making it up as we go along with which one technically goes ahead. But yeah, solid death, solid. No, sorry, not solid. No, I think that's it. But you guys will give it pretty good. So okay, we'll put it there. On to the next episode, though. We're getting to the finale, guys. And how long have we actually been recording this for? Oh, a lot longer than I realized. Man, maybe it was a good thing we did we did record this another day. I mean, to the viewers, we are recording this at the same time we just did the last episode, yes. But this episode, Batman versus Spider-Man.
Having fun yet? It's all or nothing. Sorry about that. Web swing!
Okay, then now, I actually remember some controversy with this episode and even its death. First of all, is how Batman died. Many people criticized that was so disrespectful, Spider-Man killing them like that. Sorry, my fellow Batman fans, while I do agree with you, you gotta remember this is a death battle, and there've definitely been more disrespectful ways characters have died. I wouldn't say, this is maybe my controversial opinion, I don't think this is a youch, but for a Batman and Spider-Man death, they honestly shocked me with just how brutal they made Spider-Man's kill, because I don't know. I think I was just expecting, like, he gets kicked out of the web and then, like, he hits a wall, cracks his neck. But the fact that he literally gets his torso separated from his arms and legs while basically being trapped by a spider, and only for Spider just to slingshot himself into it, like, that is a good build-up and good brutality. I will say, though, I guess, because, again, otherwise, similar criticism I gave before, very out of character of how brutal Spider-Man started being. Like, he's basically pinning Batman to a wall and he's like, having fun yet? Which I get, it's a quote from it's one of his lines in Marvel vs. Capcom. And then just killing him. He goes, sorry about that. Web swing. It's like, maybe you could just end it with Spider-Man going, sorry about that, because he generally wouldn't mean to do that. And that's a nitpick, really, but I feel as though given our previous criticism for characters, well, out of character, kind of ruining their deaths, if we just allowed this one to be in youch despite that criticism, I feel it would be hypocrites. So I think this death is a solid brutal for me. I think this is the best brutal of all the deaths.
Well, good thing
this
I'm
is
not
a solid
Batman
youch for me.
I was gonna say, good thing I'm not a Batman fan, because that's a youch. Just the irony of being trapped in something inescapable, I think, really adds on to it.
So I also have a little fun behind the scenes story. The year this episode came out, I remember I was hanging out with one of my cousins, and for some reason I just brought up the idea of, like, let's say if Batman and Spider-Man like fought one another, like, who would win? She pushed the Batman would win, I said Spider-Man. And we did have like a bit of a debate, but it didn't really go anywhere. And when I saw this episode come out, I was like, oh, they're actually doing this. That's really cool. And when Batman was getting trapped, I remember like thinking to myself, oh wait, they said in the analysis he perfected escape artistry, and the slingshot was going on for a while, so I thought, oh, was he gonna break out of this? Then just the impact of like the slingshot, I was like taken aback with how brutal that is, like ripping him limb from limb. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
And all of Wayne's money and all of Wayne's men couldn't put Batman together again.
Yeah. Well, I feel like when it comes to controversies this episode, I feel like the controversy around this episode just comes from Batman fans, like, just hating seeing a popular character like Batman get taken out like this, like, which, on one hand I can agree with, but it's like, people, have you not seen how Spider-Man takes down the Punisher? Not to this brute, but he does humiliate him. Like, Punisher is basically Marvel's Batman without the money, and Spider-Man regularly humiliates him. except in Civil War, but we don't talk about that. So yeah, would you guys agree this is at least for this anyway, this is the best brutal?
Yeah, sure.
Also, with how this looks, it looks like Marcy's like, "Don't worry, Spider-Man, I'll finish him off." Bang, bang, bang.
It looks like just the top of the cow is right in front of the Magnum too.
Oh
Like-
my god.
Like that's just funny to me.
He's infected now. I need to pop his head for confetti.
That's great. All right, then we're down to our
I
last two.
love Grunt Birthday Party so much.
We're down to our last death battles. The first one, Pikachu, specifically Ash's Pikachu, versus Street Fighter's Blanca. I'm also just now realizing we had a lot of Street Fighter characters first season.
I mean, it was only gonna be 10 episodes originally, but like when you have all the Street Fighter sprites available, yeah, it makes sense.
Season 1's terrible. Too many Street Fighter episodes. Is how modern Death Battle fans would be.
Probably.
Right then.
Street Fighter was the original Marvel vs. DC.
Okay then. I might sound harsh to my fellow Pokemon fans. I'm not sure if I could really call myself fellow Pokemon fan given our Pokemon Emerald series. But and you know, I do love Pikachu, but first of all, I love the build-up where these two are powering up their like most powerful electrical attacks. And then there's the clash, only for Blanca to just grab Pikachu, just bite his head off, put him in the freaking blender, which you kind of question, where's he been keeping that? And just to turn him into a drink,
Don't ask.
drink him up, and then burp as the electric goes on. And then he's just standing there scratching himself. Like, first off, the build-up is epic, and then I was just so taken back at how brutal it is. Just, I was like, oh god, like, that was specifically what I said as well at that death as well. I was like, legit, oh god. I wouldn't say this is the best brutal death. I would probably say this is like mid brutal. Like, I'd say somewhere between like Metal Sonic winning and you know, the Just to Be a Rebecca Black. Like, I think it's just so unexpectedly brutal. That's why I like it. I think it's just taken back from me though, because again, this could just be my bias. I'm not the biggest Blanca and Pikachu fan, so it's like, I'm not too attached. I think the shock of seeing Pikachu with his head bitten off surprised me the most. Not enough to put it in Youch though, because again, it feels more comedic than it does ouch. I think so. I think so brutal.
So I'm just gonna share behind the scenes thing, because I think the crew have even said this. Like, that ending is the whole reason the episode exists.
Excusez-moi?
Yeah, they've said the visual of Blanca like just eating Pikachu's head like really abruptly. That's the whole reason the episode exists.
Well, that's random behind the scenes stuff. Then again, this was like a decade and a half ago.
Yeah, this was like season 1.
Yeah, they were going into a very brutal phase, especially with the, you know, after Ben like kind of retired from animating.
So I would give this a Youch, actually. I think it is more amplified for me because, you know, Pikachu was part of my childhood because of Pokemon, and just seeing that to like a childhood character just stings more.
Okay, we got a Youch, we got a brutal. Mate, what... Oh, pardon me, sorry. What would you give it?
The highest I can put this is okay.
Really?
What?
Like, look, the build-up is epic, and while I have laughed at, like, just sudden, like, deaths before, I don't really know how to explain it. This one just... I think it might just be because it goes on for a little bit long. It just really, like, takes you out of the moment, and you're just like...
Can I ask the real question and be 100% honest? Is it because seeing Pikachu get his head eaten and then blended?
I feel like it went on for a bit, like, longer than it needed to.
Yeah. Okay, we know why Pikachu, you know, you're not a big fan of this. Okay, I'm kind of split on this because...
I have multiple reasons I'm not a big fan of this episode. We're not going into that.
Based off what we just talked about, it might just go on top of the pretty good tier.
Yeah, I think this is the best,
Or-
pretty good one because I don't know because brutal and then Youch. Like what? Hmm.
Like I
Yeah,
would say
deal.
probably either.
We'll put it on. We'll put it
I
on the
would say
top.
either
Pretty good.
top of pretty good. Yeah, I would say either like top of pretty good or like low end of brutal based off what we all just talked about.
We'll put them pretty good because I feel like Brutal's got enough characters in there. But now we're on to the season finale Goku versus Superman, which had so much controversy. All right then. So I'm just gonna say this now. It's not the most brutal.
Okay, real quick.
death.
I don't know if it's in the rest of the video, but Boomstick afterwards going, "It's over. It's finally over. We never have to talk about it again." I'm just saying, boy, that didn't age well.
No.
No, it did not. They're probably going to talk about it in another 10 years as well, I bet. Okay, I don't think this is the pinnacle Youch. I think, though, this is like the second best Youch for me. Like, obviously, Peach and Zelda have that beat for brutality. First of all, the build up. You see both trying their last resort attacks, last resorts at the time. Like you see Superman trying to take as much power from the sun as he can to get into his his pretty much his god form, and then you see Goku just trying one last effort to go into like his Super Saiyan forms, and then just the clash. Like they're fighting in the center of the earth. Superman's powering up his punch. Goku's doing the Dragon Fist, and just that little clash, which you're not sure who landed the killing blow, just for the earth to explode, and then Goku screaming as he's being incinerated, and then Superman just floating through space and opens his eyes. That is just that is cinema right there. Like for early Death Battle, that is a solid ending to a good season and a really solid Death Battle. Like I think this is a Youch for me just for the cinema aspect and pretty brutal for the Earth to get blown up and then Goku screaming as he's been incinerated. And plus, I think that this is also pinnacle. Team 4 Stars acting Master Codex his Goku is more comedic. He's never had those dramatic. His dramatic scream as he's dying is pretty good.
Yeah. Well, also, I remember talking to him about this. This episode was his chance to really experiment of just I get to do the Super Saiyan forms. This is really cool. So I guess Super Saiyan 3 is down here, but then Super Saiyan 4 is down here. Let's go, Superman, bring it on. So that was really fun for him.
It's a shame he doesn't do future Death Battles with the additions of Goku, but I kind of understand. One, Musco has said you know what, he's not too bothered not voicing Goku on them, and plus he kind of does his own thing now. Yeah, I've already said my piece, so you know what, this is a Youch for me.
Yeah. I mean, he still comments on stuff in Goku Black's preview. I think he left a comment on the YouTube video going, "Dark me, watch out for Superman."
So, mate, what would you give this? A Youch or something else?
This is a Youch.
Sean, it is down
the build up and
sorry.
Impact of Earth blowing up. The first time you see that, especially when this episode came out, you're just oh, Jesus! And maybe on first viewing you don't exactly catch like who's dying there because it goes out on like both of them screaming as they're enveloped by the explosion. So it does have a brief like who's gonna win sort of moment. And then of course like Superman like drifting through and the sunlight like going on his face and he slowly opens his eyes. But it's one hell of an ending.
All right, Shawnee, it is down to you. We have one more youch.
It ends in brutal because it feels like Superman's a little bit out of character in that ending.
No. Would you say you kind of agree with most of the other things? You just feel as though Superman just
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and I suppose that's fair enough. We've, talked about other death battles that ended with characters out of character, so. But you know what? We'll at least say this goes slightly in front of. This takes the brutal lead. So, once again, Batman, you come up short of Superman. Well, maybe not in the box office. You still dominate that. I will say, at least Supergirl's doing better than Batgirl. Batgirl's movie got cancelled. But so that is our tier list of Death Battle Season 1. And I will admit, I do disagree with some, not all of them. I do think there are some that deserve and that's it. And you know what? I'm actually kind of happy though we ended with nothing and that's it in a way. Like, because again, this is meant to be all our opinions.
Actually, yeah.
So it's like, hey, you know what? All of us managed to have. Because I look at that as a way as like, hey, one of us might think this death is pretty trash, but another two or another one person is like, you know what, guys? No, there's a reason why this episode's good. So I actually kind of like that's how it goes. Like, and let's be real, we all have our biases why we put things higher than the others. Like, one of us, maybe we don't like seeing our favorite characters dying. Maybe we think, oh, okay, that's how my character dies. That's pretty lame. Or, oh, damn, that death was awesome. So yeah, like, and honestly, people, if you want to have a go at this and rank all these deaths yourself, I'll put a link to this tier list in the description. And what do you think of our takes? Do you agree with some of our positions, or do you think everything deserves to be in Youch, except for Bomberman?
But they can stick the shirts.
Yeah, except the shirt. But yeah, thank you all for.
Why not buy the shirt?
You can now. Not sponsored, not yet, at least. I'm just saying, Death Battle, hit us up.
We feel like that scene with Mike Myers being like, no matter what, I will never bow to any sponsor as he's posing with a Pizza Hut box.
That's just us with our Death Battle merch. Oh, God. Can you imagine, like, lads, we want you to promote one of our merchandise. Yeah, can you promote our new dummy plushie? Fuck you! That would be me.
Buy a dummy plush today to annoy your friends named Billy.
Do you know what, that would actually be a great way we could advertise it. It's like, hey, do you like dummy? Bill doesn't. Throws it off camera like, what? And it just hits me in the face.
I'd actually be good. Like, imagine if, like, say me and Bill were actually able to like meet up and record something.
Anyway, we could plot like our future, like selling our souls to corporation. I'm not sure they're really considered corporation anymore, but yeah. So people, this is what we think of season 1 devs. And would you like to see more of us ranking tier list? For God's sake, like give us time before we do season 2. Just saying. And yeah, what did you think of the previous death battle? What do you think of the next time? Big shout out to our guests, and also a shout out to Nosey for his video. Like, shout out to him. I'll leave a link to his compilations in the. Well, I'll just leave a link to his channel in the description down below. But yeah, with all that said and done, thank you all so much for watching. Be sure to share the video around and keep the channel growing. Farewell, everybody.
Bye.
See ya.